I'd like to welcome you to this event, the second Institute Health and Safety Conference to be held in Liverpool. My name is Carolyn Jones, I'm the Director of the Institute of Employment Rights. This is an important occasion for many reasons, but I'll name just three in my brief introduction. First, it's important because it's the first event we've had in Liverpool since the general election. That election resulted in no party winning majority support. It saw New Labour removed from office, and it saw a Conservative Lib Dem coalition put into power. So this conference provides us with the ideal opportunity to reflect on the policy of the past government and ponder on the policies of the current coalition. And that's what we hope to do today in sessions geared towards outlining and analysing policies, proposals, actions and attitudes. And we have an excellent platform of speakers to do just that. A mixture of academics, trade unionists and even a baroness for our keynote speaker, although we did have Bruce O'Donoghue at our London-based Health and Safety Conference before she came here in Rome, and she's always been a good friend of the Institute. We have trade unions experts in news and regulations and working with workers to improve health and safety on site, as well as unions representing those charged with enforcing health and safety law at work. We also have an official representative from the HSE to offer a HSE response to the argument that regulation has been surrendered and the health and safety regulation is in crisis. Second, it's an important event because it coincides with the announcement by David Cameron that Lord Young, the 78-year-old former Industry Minister under Thatcher, is in charge of a review of the Health and Safety at Work Act. Now, a review of the Health and Safety at Work Act is not in itself a bad thing. The Institute suggested a review of the Act over 10 years ago, pointing out that the relevant principles underpinning the Act of self-regulation and the provisions of the Act itself, aimed as they were at large single-employer, mainly manufacturing sites, needed updating to cope with the modern world of work. But Cameron's review is different. Cameron's review is couched in the language of burdens on business, of removing red tape, of dealing with a mythical compensation culture. Lord Young considers health and safety regulation a joke. And we can be sure that any regulations they can't let out of existence they intend to burn on a massive bonfire of regulations, starting with health and safety. Of course, the hysterical media, led inevitably by the Daily Mail, are running daily stories of regulation gone mad. Whether it's flip-flops, swimming goggles, toothpicks or doormats, the Mail is doing its bit to build an image of a society that is over-regulated, overburdened and over-governed by a bureaucratic state. In reality, of course, life on this planet is completely different. The Daily Mail's anti-regulation campaign is part of an attempt to resuscitate the discredited and destabilised neoliberal free market ideology. That ideology took a bashing when the deregulated financial sector crashed, leaving taxpayers to bail out the banks. The danger now, of course, is that the condemned coalition will undertake its review and initiate its policy proposals amidst the toxic mix of financial constraint and anti-regulation hysteria. The result for workers and their families could be devastating. Third, and perhaps most importantly, this event is important because it sees the launch of an excellent publication by two of our speakers here today. And I say that not just to promote sales of the publication, although sales of the book would be good. I say because this book provides detailed analysis and coherent arguments. It provides new data previously unpublished, gained by the authors through Freedom of Information requests. It presents easily accessible arguments as to why health and safety is too important to be left to the vagaries of the market or the individual whim of an employer. And more, it critiques the better regulation agenda, the idea that less is more, that education can replace regulation, or that employers are all honest, are all law-abiding, and are willing to unilaterally carry the cost of ensuring a safe working environment. What's more, the arguments made in this book, in the context of health and safety, can be read across to other policy areas and other economic sectors. So, for instance, the government's call for less state intervention in education and the leading to the bizarre idea of free schools, or, as we heard yesterday, less state involvement in health and the creation of independence for GPs. Or the suggestion that regulatory burdens dealing with policy issues or working time need to be reassessed are all part of the same debate about deregulation. But I'll leave it for the speakers to describe what's in their book better than me. And I'll make just a couple of announcements first of all. Changes to the programme. Dennis Drudy unfortunately can't be here from UCAS, which means we get an early start today. Unless, of course, we fill up that space with questions and discussion, which I'm sure our speakers will stimulate. John McLean, unfortunately, from the GMB was taken to hospital last week, so he's not able to join us, although he has got a standing replacement, Dan Shears, who's kindly agreed to step in. There's some changes to the materials in your packs as well. Stephen and Dave's presentation has slightly changed, but they'll talk you through that, as has John McLean's presentation been changed. There's some additional materials. We've got a PowerPoint from HSC. Anything that's not in your packs or has been changed will be on our website as soon as possible. There's a general publications bonanza outside. You should have got some materials on your desks. There's more outside. The Institute's moving office, so any books that we're not wanting to take with us, we're offering to you here or again on our website. Toilets are through the back, I've been asked to tell you. Remind you to switch off your mobile phones. And after that, I will move on to our first session, where we'll have David Price and Stephen Jones first to talk about the crisis in health and safety, and then we'll have a response from David Ashton from HSA. So, Steve Jones.